Hey everybody, Neil Thompson, founder of Teach the Geek here. I work with technical professionals so they can present more effectively, especially in front of non-technical audiences. And you can find out more about that at teachthegeek.com. Again, that's teachthegeek.com. And as always, remember to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel, as every bit helps. Have you ever given some thought to giving a more interactive presentation? Well, here are some things to keep in mind. Number one, you want to plan for less content because there's going to be interaction involved in your presentation. There's likely going to be less time for you to actually present, and there's going to be more time with people actually speaking during that time, other people speaking that aren't you. So, for instance, if you're given 30 minutes to present, then maybe have 20 minutes of content with the subsequent 10 minutes being used for that interactive part of your presentation. But I will say that you should always have something in the tank, meaning some extra content in the event that you don't get the interaction that you had thought you'd get. So maybe you had 10 minutes planned for interaction, but people weren't really interacting. So that's what you're supposed to do. Well, at least you have that extra content to present in the event that people don't interact the way you had hoped. So that's number one. Number two, you want to keep track of time, regardless of whatever your interactive component of your presentation is, whether it is you have people break out into groups to discuss something, maybe you have people ask questions during your presentation, as opposed to waiting till the end to wait till the end to ask questions. You want to make sure that you plan ahead of time, or you make sure you want to keep track of that time. So you don't want things to go off the rails. If you have people break out into groups, say, hey, this is going to be 5 minutes. 5 minutes, when 5 minutes is up, we start up again. If you have people that are asking questions during the presentation, you don't want to go off onto tangents with one person asking a question, a subsequent question, another question, another question, another question. You get the point. Next thing you know, your time is up. One question and then move on to the next, to whatever you're going to say, or to the question that someone else has to ask. You definitely want to keep track of the time so you don't go over time. And then number three, you don't want to wing it. When it comes to these types of presentations, there is a lot more room. There's a lot more chance for error because it's not just up to you. Because it's interactive, it's also up to the people who are interacting with you, which would be the audience. So in that instance, you want to make it so that you've done enough planning ahead of time. I mean, as I mentioned earlier, if you don't want to decide in the moment that's going to be 5 minutes of the breakout, you want to know that beforehand. You don't want to decide in the moment that you're going to take questions. You want to know that beforehand, or take questions during the actual presentation. You want to know that beforehand because that will help you in planning the actual presentation. You don't want to come up with all this stuff on the spot because you're just asking for trouble in that instance. So those are three tips to keep in mind when it comes to interactive presentations. Number one, you want to plan to have plan to present less content, but always have more if necessary if you don't get the interaction you had hoped for. Number two, you want to keep track of time, whether you are having people break out into groups, having people ask questions during your presentation. You want to make sure that you're keeping track of time so you don't go over. And then number three, you don't want to wing it. You want to plan as best as you can to make sure that the presentation is as good as it could possibly be. Hopefully that helps. Again, my name is Neil Thompson. I am the founder of Teach the Geek. I work with technical professionals so they present more effectively, especially in front of non-technical audiences. And you can find out more about that at teachthegeek.com. Again, that's teachthegeek.com. And as always, remember to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel, as every bit helps. Thanks. Have a great day.